Welcome to the mock paper discussion, part 2. In the last video, we discussed 25 questions was part of the paper, and in this video, we are going to discuss the second part of the question paper. So let's start with question number 26. Currently, most airlines bypass travel agents and provide their customers direct access to ticket reservations. This is an example of, so 4 answers are given: re-intermediation, intermediation, countermediation, and intermediaries. To understand these answers, let's look at what is discussed in the textbook. So this is discussed under e-marketplace types, functions, and features. They have discussed disintermediation here, that this is an example that the manufacturer or the supplier directly sell to the customer without intermediate parties. So disintermediation means removing or bypassing all the middle parties or middle sellers and directly selling it to the final customer. So as an example, they have given the Dell computers. This is what they are doing. So directly they are selling to the customer via their website, so the customers can directly place the order to the main company itself without going through dealers or agents. So this is disintermediation. So if you look at the question again, they are asking about a particular situation. Most airlines bypass travel agents and provide their customers direct access. So this is not talking about removing all the middle people and using a direct channel to customers. Keeping the existing intermediaries, also giving an opportunity to the customers directly get the services from the main company. So that is discussed. If you go down, that is discussed in the countermediation section. And even the re-intermediation section is about changing the intermediary arrangement and introducing different functions for intermediate organizations, which is between the supplier and the customer. So re-intermediation is rearranging or reintroducing new middle people and new relationships built. Countermediation is creating a new type of intermediary by the established original company using the e-business technology. So this is mainly focusing on the giving the ability to the customer to do the shopping and that part of the information and buying and all the transaction for themselves without any help of other parties. So if you look at answer for the question 26, we have to mark counter mediation. Okay, now let's move on to question number 27. According to the author Chaffee, the author has showed how the different components of the e-business infrastructure relate to each other. They can be shown as different layers with defined interfaces between each layer. Out of the following, select the 2 alternatives that match the e-business architecture layer and the players correctly. So this is asking about how e-business architecture layer is being matched with the real organizations or brands, how each layer is handled by each of these organizations or software. So it has given 4 architecture types. Let's look at how this is discussed in the book. So in the book it's talking about, you can see there's a table which talks about this. So all the layers are mentioned here. So on the first column, e-business architecture, first layer is the application layer, which is about the e-commerce software systems, relationship management systems, performance enhancement, supply chain management, data mining, and content management. So this layer constitutes of these type of software. So examples for these platforms and software can be Microsoft, IBM, Ariba, Broadvision, PeopleSoft, Siebel, and Akamai. So these brands or software is doing all these mentioned functions as we have categorized into the application layer. So you can see there are 4 layers mentioned here: system software layer, transport or network layer, content and data layer, and e-business service application layer. So let's go through these steps and then go back to the question. In the system software layer, this is talking about the web browsers, operating systems, software installed in the servers, and different kind of standards which servers are following, network software, database management software, software which are used to do encryption, the cryptographic security type of software. So system software layer is all about different system softwares used. So those softwares are handled by these brand names or organizations: Microsoft, Sun, Linux, Oracle, Sybase, IBM, and VeriSign and Checkpoint. Then the transport or network layer. In this layer, in this categorization, we have the web servers and the physical network itself, the routers, the cabling, the physical network itself. So this is mostly handled by devices and equipment from IBM, Dell, Sun, Cisco, and Lucent. And then the storage and physical layer. So these storage can be hard drives, we call working memory, which is RAM. So these memory types are also, we take it as a separate layer called storage or physical layer. There is no particular brand or organization mentioned here. So there are various brands and organizations which are covering this one. And finally, content and the data layer. So in this layer, all the content which is exchanged to different vendors, customers, all the people who are using, the stakeholders, the staff, everything that flows in the network is covered in the content of the data layer. So this is the information that we work with. So it contains web content of the internet, intranets, extranet sites. So everything travels, all the information which we access are part of this. And it can be customers data, it can be transactions data, it can be payment systems, it can be streaming media, hosting sites. So all these are categorized in the content and data layer. So services or organizations like PayPal, again Microsoft, Real Networks, Apple, IBM, and Web Intellect are examples of platforms and players in this category. So if we go back to the question, this question is clearly saying on the left side what is the layer, on the right side what is the player. So if you look at each of these, system software layer, according to the textbook, it is clear that Linux, Oracle, and IBM are the players in the system software layer. And transport network layer, it's not the real networks and Apple transfer network layer. There are different players than that. Content and data layer. Content and data layer is all about PayPal and web intellects, which is correct. And finally, e-business service application layer, VeriSign and Checkpoint is not mentioned there as a player. So the correct answer for this is answer D. Right. Let's move on to question number 28. Total quality management is a philosophy that emphasizes the importance of satisfying customer needs. Edward Deming is one of the originators of quality management movement. Select two of the following ideas on which his views were based. So these are the four ideas given as answer points. Let's look at how it is discussed in the book. Right. So there are different total quality management principles and aspects given from Edward Deming and Philip Cosby and Joseph Juran. So there are different quality management aspects given by different people. So this question is discussing about the Deming's ideas. So there are 6 ideas given by Deming. First one is a business should continually seek to improve its products and services. So continual improvement is the first idea. Second one is eliminate all waste. There should not be any waste, and there cannot be any defective products in the production. So that is the second idea. Third idea, do not rely on inspection procedures to achieve quality, and inspection uses up resources without creating value. So all the time do it right. Don't wait till the QA team catches a fault. Fourthly, when selecting suppliers, price should not be the only consideration. So low-cost suppliers sometimes will have low quality input given to the organization. So quality and reliability of the supply are also important. Number 5, you have to always think of improving the production system. So when the production system improves, it helps to reduce waste during the process, and it helps to improve the quality as well. Number 6, train employees so that they become better at doing their job. So employees should not be the reason for the mistakes created. Employees should be treated as people who can overcome the problems in the organization. So they should be trained so that they can be better doing their jobs. So if you look at the answer points given here, it's now clear that eliminate all waste and improve production systems are the two answers. So the answer is D. Let's move on to question number 29. Business process reengineering, or we call it BPR, is the fundamental rethinking and redesign of business processes to achieve dramatic improvement in critical contemporary measures of performance such as cost, quality, service, and speed. So this is described by Davenport and Short in 1990, their publication, as a 5-step approach to business process reengineering. So those 5 steps are given here. So the question is asking what is the correct order of these 5 steps. So to understand that, let's see how these 5 steps are discussed, and then we'll come back here to see how this happens. Right. Davenport and Short prescribe a 5-step approach for business process reengineering. So step 1, develop the business vision and process objectives. Step 1 is develop a vision and from that vision derive objectives so that you have a direction. Business process reengineering is driven by business vision, which implies specific business objectives such as cost reduction, time reduction, output quality improvement, total quality management, and empowerment. So the first step is all about creating a good business vision and objectives for the processes. When that is done, step 2, identify the processes to be redesigned. So from the existing processes, to identify which processes needs to be redesigned. And then move on to step 3, understand and measure the existing processes. So when in the step 2 the processes are identified which needs to be improved or redesigned, those processes have to be clearly studied and measured with how currently the process is happening. Then step 4, identify change levers. Awareness of IT capabilities could prove useful when designing process. So then identify the change levers also for these processes. Then finally, design and build a prototype of the new process. So that will be the last step. So the actual design should not be viewed as the end of the BPR process. It should be viewed as a prototype. So always when doing the business process reengineering, when a process is re-engineered, the new process which was built should be viewed as a prototype, not as the final thing, because this is continuously improving workflow. So if we look at this question, first we have to think, okay, develop business vision and process objectives. So this is the first thing that during these 5 steps has to be done. Then when the vision and objectives are identified, then identify the process which needs to be redefined. Then we can go ahead by understanding and measuring the existing process when the processes are identified. Then identify the change levers, and finally design and build a prototype of the new process. So the correct order is A. Question number 30. Which of the following statements are correct with reference to lean manufacturing? So lean manufacturing is also a performance optimization method used by a lot of organizations. So if we look at how lean manufacturing happens, we can see how it is discussed in the book. So this is lean manufacturing. So let's have a little look at what this is all about. Lean manufacturing is an approach to manufacturing that seeks to eliminate all activities that do not add value, such as waste and holding inventory. So this is a way of optimizing how we do things in organizations, and eliminating all activities which is not adding any value, which is not benefiting the process. So removing all those additional effort we are doing, and as well as waste and holding inventory also is considered. So lean manufacturing can help to increase the value of what is currently happening and minimize the amount of resources being used in the operation, right? So, and there are certain things, as an example, it focuses on reducing the response time so that the production system is capable of quickly producing the ordered items, rapidly meeting the market demand when the market demands are changed, and when the customers also change their demands. So meeting the needs of the customers is also possible in this kind of a situation. And lean manufacturing helps the production to flow uninterrupted to meet the demand. So this is all about optimized production, right? So let's look at there are certain principles of lean thinking. Let's look at the question and see how this happens. Right, first point. One of the main objectives of lean manufacturing is to minimize the amount of resources used in the manufacturing process. Yes, we just saw how this is done. Minimize the amount of resources used in the manufacturing operations. Number 2, the lean manufacturing production must flow uninterrupted to meet the demand. So that is also clearly explained here in lean manufacturing. Production must flow uninterrupted to meet the demand. Second one is also correct. Thirdly, flow, value stream, specify value, pull and performance are the only principles of lean manufacturing. So this table, we just had a look at it. So specify value, value stream, flow, pull and perfection. These five principles are the principles in only principles in lean manufacturing. That is also correct. Fourth one, lean manufacturing focuses on reducing the response time so that the production system is capable of changing rapidly to market demand. So that also we discussed here. It focuses on reducing the response time so that the production system is rapidly adapting to the market demand and it can produce quickly. So all these statements are correct according to what we can see in the book. So all these statements are correct in terms of lean manufacturing. So at this moment there should be an answer which has all these 4 in it rather than having the 3. So I think there is a maybe a printing mistake or something like that in the typing mistake. So there should be an answer here which has 1, 2, 3 and 4 as the answer, because all 4 are correct here. So you can again check with the textbook and go through it and see how it happens. So I'll leave without marking an answer because all 4 seems to be correct. Right. Question number 31. When companies use the internet to do business with other businesses, it is called business to business e-business. As per Rayport and Joski, evolution of business to business e-business has 4 stages of development. Select the stages of business to business development in the correct order. So let's have a look at how it is discussed in the book. So business to business. Right. First stage, emission, or we can say broadcast. The company begins by creating an informational website for clients. So that is the first basic step of an organization trying to start e-business operations with another organization. So the first thing is, for the clients, this organization can start a website that they can get all the information through that. Then that is happening. Then the second stage is enabling some interaction through the website. So the customers or the clients can interact. There is a contact us page. There are surveys that for the purchases that they made, they can respond back and feedback is given. So some kind of a communication between the clients can happen through the website. So that functionality is called interaction. So the clients and the customers can interact with the organization. First stage, there is no interaction, providing information only. Second stage, interaction ability is given. Third stage only, the transactions can be happening in the through the website. So payments and online ordering is enabled in the website. So transaction is also complete transaction process is captured in the website. So the transaction process is managed. Then finally, it says collaboration. So internet can be used to do collaborative activities. The use of internet to provide inter-organizational activities that can be accessed and utilized by the company and its trading partners. Right. So these are the four stages of developing a business-to-business e-business type approach. So for question 31, we can see emission broadcast is the first stage, then interaction is enabled, then transaction ability is enabled, and then finally up to collaboration it is enabled. So question number 31, answer should be the last one, D. Let's move on to question number 32. How does e-business differ from e-commerce? How does e-business differ from e-commerce? So let's have a look at how this is discussed in the book. So e-business is often confused with e-commerce. Okay. Why is that? Why e-commerce is confused with e-business? Let's see. Now, these are the activities that an e-business does. So you can see an e-business, electronic or digitally converted business, does its online marketing, online selling, online payments, supply chain and channel management, manufacturing and inventory control, financial operations, employee workflow, and many more of the processes and the functions of the organizations completely in a digital manner, system-based manner. So the e-business is basically having all these operational things captured and controlled and running on systems, digitally internet-enabled systems. So in this list of things, you can see that e-commerce is also happening. Online selling and online payments, we can consider those two as e-commerce. So in a e-business, e-commerce is one of the things which can happen. So it also says here, e-commerce is just one aspect of e-business. So e-commerce is also under e-business. So we do e-commerce operations in a e-business and many more other things in a e-business. So if we go back to the answer, question 32, answer should be e-commerce is an aspect of e-business. Let's move on to question number 33. Network technologies are used by organizations to integrate workers across sites and to facilitate working from home. So this is integrating network technologies from organization for people to work outside the organization. As an example, working from home. So this is not about creating a organization which is virtual. This is not about creating a virtual office. And definitely this is not a virtual network. Virtual network is a software based network. We call it sometimes VPN, where we use a software to virtually create a private network with our organization where are we are. So it should be virtual arrangements. So this is a virtual arrangement. They are not trying to create a virtual organization where the organization itself is virtual. Okay, that's not the case here. Or even a virtual office is not the concept here. They are trying to let workers work from home, so they are having a virtual arrangement so that they can work from home. So for question number 33, answer should be C. We can also see how the textbook is saying about it. So virtual arrangements, network technologies are used by organizations to integrate workers across the sites and working at home. So because of this internet developments and all this technology, broadband, this is possible. With this arrangement, the staff can work from home. But whereas virtual organization is a collection of people or staff members who are working from different sites or different organizational units, or maybe the entire organization is part of it is in a different place. So they work in a different place, but for the organization as a virtual organization. Right? These are virtual arrangements to work from home, but virtual organization is a different concept. So the answer here is virtual arrangements. Question number 34. What is the key difference between e-commerce and traditional commerce? Let's see how it is discussed in the textbook. E-commerce and traditional commerce. So let's look at the example given here in this chapter 6, introduction to e-business chapter. Let's see what is this example is telling us. An university can put its reading list on a website, and students wishing to purchase any given book can click directly through to an online bookseller such as Amazon.com. The university gets a commission. The online bookseller gets increased business. The students get a discount. Everyone benefits except the traditional bookshop. These new trends are creating pressure for companies. One threat facing companies is that price will be driven down by the customer's ability to shop around. Another threat is reduced barriers of entry for new competitors. A key difference between e-commerce and traditional commerce can also be seen from the role of the consumer in marketing activity. In traditional marketing media such as advertising and direct mail, the marketing message is initiated by the supplier sending out a message to potential customers. However, there is limited interaction with the customer. In electronic media, the customer plays much more active role. For example, visiting a website to find out information about the product or supplier. There is much greater degree of interaction between customer and supplier. So the idea here is, in e-commerce compared to traditional commerce, it is more customer interaction. So more customer interaction means that customer is engaged with the organization during the process, not like in the traditional commerce. So out of the answers, the e-commerce has reduced the interaction between customer and supplier. No, it is the total opposite what we discussed. E-commerce has created a greater degree of interaction between customers. Exactly this is what we discussed. E-commerce, in e-commerce marketing, a message is initiated by the supplier. So this is also message is initiated by supplier. This is also correct, but this is not the difference between e-commerce and the traditional commerce. In traditional commerce, the customer plays much more active role than in e-commerce. No, it is totally opposite of what we discussed. So the difference, if you look at the difference between these two, is that customer interaction is high, right? Okay. So question number 34, answer is B. Question number 35. A strategy for e-commerce, while not necessarily constituting the organization's overall strategy, is likely to have wide implications and may involve and affect more than one function or department within the organization. What criteria should be used when building a suitable e-commerce strategy? So about e-commerce strategy, there is a explanation in the textbook, building an e-commerce strategy. So they talk about when you are building a strategy for the organization, why it has to be suitable for the organization, and it needs to be accepted by not just by the management but by all the stakeholders in the organization, and it has to be feasible also. So suitability means some of the organizations, some type of products are not suitable to be sold as a e-commerce product. Some products are suitable, some products are not suitable. So for example, we can say, so they have also mentioned example like outdoor equipment, camping equipment, so things like that, some luxury goods which are more expensive. So sometimes these would not have the suitability to be sold online in an e-commerce platform. In the same manner, some of the stakeholders, for example, if this organization is getting products from a supplier, and that supplier is also giving their products to other organizations like you to sell, but you decide to sell the products in a e-commerce platform where the other organizations, your competitors who are taking the products from the same supplier, will have an objection on that, because you are taking an undue advantage, so that your supplier will not like you to sell their product on your online store. So that everyone has to accept this. And in certain cases, feasibility is also important, because going online as an e-commerce platform, there is a lot of cost involved and there is a lot of technical knowledge involved. So you have to employ technical staff, as well as you have to do necessary investments in place to get that happening. So any kind of e-commerce strategy should be fundamentally talking about considering how suitable the products or services selected for this type of a arrangement, and whether all the stakeholders are accepting this method of selling, whether this whole operation is feasible both technically and financially. So if we look at the question here, you can see the answer: suitability, acceptability, and feasibility. So first one is the answer. Question number 36. eBay.com is an example for which business model? So I think most of you have heard about eBay. eBay is a website where you can sell something that you have, or you can display it or put it on that website. Anyone in the world who likes that product, who's willing to pay, can pay that product and purchase it from you. So let's look at what are these different types of business models. So the type of e-commerce models, we have the business to business, business to consumer, consumer to business, and consumer to consumer. So as we discussed, e-commerce websites can operate in all these formats. So with the example eBay, as I explained, any individual can put their item which they have to be sold on the website. Anyone who sees it can make the payment and buy. So a person who is selling is also a consumer. It's not a organization who makes the product. Person who also buying is also a consumer. So this is a consumer to consumer business. An excellent example is found at eBay, where consumers sell their goods and services to other consumers. Right? So the answer here is consumer to consumer. Question number 37. RFID, which is used to improve efficiency in the logistics industry, stands for. So we can see what is explained by that. So there are explanations on different applications: internet, intranet, electronic data interchange, and RFID, radio frequency identification devices. So RFID is a technology for automatic identification of items. In logistics, RFID can be used to identify items of goods automatically when they are being dispatched, or more commonly when they are received into the warehouse from the supplier. Right. So RFID, there should be more information. Yes, more information given. So you can have a look at it. So answer should be radio frequency identification devices. Yes. Question number 38. What are the three elements that are added to a traditional marketing mix in order to make an extended marketing mix? So when we talk about marketing, we talk about 4 P's and 7 P's. So this is about that. Let's move on to where it is discussed. Right. So the 4 P's, or the original marketing mix, is having the elements of product, price, place, and promotion. So product means what are we trying to sell, whether that is having demand, and all the factors about the product also has to be thought. Then we have to think about how the pricing is done, whether it is appropriate for this kind of market, can we compete with this price. That information has to be then thought about. Then number 3 is the place. How are we going to distribute it, from which channels to which location, which group of people should be make it available, these products. So place. And fourth one is how the promotion is going to happen, how the spending on advertising and promotions will happen. So the expenditure for that. So these are the 4 P's, or the original marketing mix. 4 P's. And then this is extended. When the marketing services developed, there were certain products where these 4 P's are not enough when a marketing campaign is designed. So the marketing mix of 4 P's was extended with these 3 items again, 3 areas: people, physical evidence, and process. So which people, right? Who are the people who should be involving in this? Who will be doing the marketing? Who will be talking to the customers? So how the customer communication should happen. So people is also a concern. Physical evidence. So physical evidence refers to the intangible aspects such as the look and feel of the organization, the brand, and such as how it appears as a suitable organization, how the staff members dress, the color code, all that. That is also part of the marketing mix now. And finally, the process where the services are delivered using user-friendly system for buying and selling. So these are the extended marketing mix features: people, physical evidence, and processes. So for question 38, people, physical evidence, and process are the extended marketing mix. Let's move on to question number 39. Ensuring online campaigns gain attraction and are visible to a wide-reaching audience based on trending, known as. So online campaigns sometimes becomes trending. It's a word we also talk about when we see even in YouTube. We say that these are the videos which are trending now. So let's see how this is explained in the textbook. Right. So acquisition of customers through e-business technology. SEO, search engine optimization, allowing for the organization to show at the top of the search engine results. So when you do a Google search, in the first page, the results which are coming in the first page are more likely people click and visit. News groups and forums, being present and active in a multitude of online spaces. So that is also important. Newsletters, sending targeted newsletters to individuals. So brochures or kind of information articles about the products, about the organization and quality of the products and reviews. You can send it to directly to customers and other individuals. Link building and partnership campaigns, allowing links from third partner websites to gain direct traffic. So we can have other organizations which are working with us also have their links in our website, so that our customers and our people who come to our website also can get the services from our other organizations which we are working. So the partnership campaigns also can happen. Viral marketing, ensuring online campaigns gain traction and are visible to a wide-reaching audience based on trending. So this is what we are looking for in the question. So viral marketing is the concept where it reaches wide audience and becomes a trending post or a video. It reaches most people, and people who look at it also shares it with other people, so it becomes a viral kind of it goes like a virus. It spreads because people also share when they see it. It's really interesting. It is being shared. So ensuring online campaign gain attraction and visible to wider reaching audience. So this is known as viral marketing. Question number 40. According to Kotler and Armstrong, complex buying behavior occurs when, okay, there are 4 answers given. Let's look at these buying behaviors. Types of buying behavior, Kotler and Armstrong. Note that there are 4 typical types of buying behavior based on the type of product that is to be purchased. So they talk about complex buying behavior, habitual buying behavior, variety seeking buying behavior and dishonest reducing buying behavior. So this is like the way people buy certain things, the way they buy it, and their behavior. These are 4 categorizations actually. So complex buying behavior, this happens when a person purchases a high value brand and seeks a lot of information before the purchase is made. So the buying behavior is very complex because the product the person is trying to buy, it's a high value brand, it's very expensive, so the buying decision is very critical. So for that, lot of information is collected by this person from various sources. uh, this is how they do buying. But habitual buying is a little bit different. What happens is an individual buys a product uh, out of their habit as a regular buying behavior. For example, a newspaper. Thirdly, variety seeking buying behavior occurs when an individual likes to shop around and experiment with different products. So there is no usual buying pattern or anything like that, but try to experiment and see, buy and see the stuff. And dishonest buying behavior, this is occurring when because the product is expensive or infrequent, the buying behavior is we call it dishonest reducing, because with the purchase they are highly involved with it. So for this question, question number 40, for the complex buying behavior, you can see the individual purchase a high value brand and seeks a lot of information to purchase. So this is the answer for question number 40. Now let's look at question number 41. Define, test, send, measure, and report are the steps of. So these steps are defined, these steps are used in email marketing. So let's see how these steps are explained in email marketing, and then come back to the question. So I'm going to the study guide. So in the email marketing section, this is chapter 11. In that content marketing chapter, it explains how the process of email marketing happens, right? So you can see there are 5 steps starting from define, test, send, measure, and report. So what happens in the define is any email marketing campaign, before the campaign is started, it is very important that the content of the email campaign, what is the information that we need to send in what type of format, how the information needs to be appealing to the person who sees it, and how relevant and correct the information is. So the definition of defining of what type of a title that the campaign should have, the email, and how whether the email body is being designed using a graphic art, or whether the information is given just as text or animations used. So that decision of how the campaign has to be is first agreed and discussed. Then when an email campaign is made, we have to think about the people who are receiving these emails, or the end users, or the customers who we are targeting. So they might be having different devices and softwares that they use to check these emails. So some they will use their mobile phones to open this email, some they will use their office computer to open this kind of email, some they will use their tablet computer. So each of these different devices will have different operating systems, different size, like the form factor. Mobile screen is small, tablet screen is a bit bigger, and laptop screen is more than that size, and even the office computer is bigger. So in each of the devices, each of the web browsing software, and even through Outlook, some people in their offices might open this email from the Outlook client. So in all of these different platforms and devices, the campaigner email that we are sending should display and work properly as what we intend to do. That testing needs to be done before sending the email campaign. So then once the testing is done, once we are sure that it can be displayed clearly and properly in all the target devices and software, then next step is to decide when the email should be sent and what is the target group, and during what time of the day this has to be sent. So that aspect is decided in the third step. So once that is decided, now the content is there, it has been tested to work on different platforms, and whom to send on, during what time of the day, in what interval basis to be sent is decided. And then when the email campaign is sent out, now we can start measuring how it has impacted, or whether it has reached the people we have sent. So email campaigners have this ability to have a response or feedback mechanism, where when a person opens this kind of email, we can see whether they have opened it or not, or whether they have forwarded to someone else, whether they have clicked on it. So that information can be reported back to us, so we would know out of the addresses we have sent, how many of them have been sent to have been opened by the actual person, and how many of them have not been opened, and if they have not received it at all, if it's bounced back, that also can be measured. And finally, with that information, the report can be generated on how clients have used this, and how many have bounced, how many have shared it online. So that report is the final stage of email marketing, where we can see the impact of the whole effort. So going back to the question, simply when you see these steps: define, test, send, measure, and report, it has to come to your mind right away that this is nothing else than email marketing. You should not confuse or mix with other different other types of marketing, and email marketing is the one of the earliest digital marketing approaches we had, right? So if we move on to question number 42 now, let's see how it discusses there. As per Baxter, an online community where members share personal situation is known as. So online communities, like we use different social media platforms, social groups, and we do certain different activities on those groups. So depending on the type of activity we do, these online communities can be defined in several groups. So let's look at how this is discussed in the textbook. So here Baxter has highlighted the different types of communities, online communities, which are available. So there are 5 types. You can see from the diagram given here. So communities of practice, right? So then what happens is, this community, this group of people, what they exchange or what they do is they share what they do for in their profession. Like these are professional communities where they exchange certain practices in their job, in their profession, what they do with similar type of professionals who are working here. So engineers, if they have a group, they will one engineer from one part of the world will share, okay, this is something new that we did in this part of the world, so this is how I did it, so that the whole community can get the information about this and learn about it. And even sometimes when one person has a question or some kind of a confusion on a certain thing that they face to day-to-day basis, they can put it on to the community and ask from other members who are in the same profession who are part of this community, so that they can share their how they practice that in their professional work environment. And then there are communities called communities of circumstance, where members they share the incidents and things that happen to them, the experience they have in their life about certain things. So this is shared in communities like this. So all of these are communities, online communities, where people communicate, collaborate, share, and discuss certain topics. So depending on what they are discussing on, we segregate them into different communities. So even in Sri Lanka, there are a lot of online communities. Now there's a famous community for vehicle owners, where they discuss issues for different vehicle makes and types, and how repairs are done, and where to find the spare parts, and which garage is good for this kind of work, and which garages are should be avoided, which they are not doing the work properly. And all these information are discussed. So there are communities like that. So if you look at the other types, communities of purpose, where members have a common objective to do something, to maybe save the environment, or maybe some kind of a cause. So there can be communities who are working towards that. And there can be communities based on the geography. For example, there can be community of all the people in a particular village. They have created a community in their name, so online. So whatever happens in that village, whatever the help needed by each other, and what are things that each other has to share in that village, so based on that geography, they can create communities. And then finally, there can be communities of interest, where people, if there are, for example, a group of photographers, a group of adventure seekers who have common interests, common hobbies, so they get into their communities and they discuss things related to their community, so that everyone is invited. So there can be sometimes some communities having like more than one feature of these things, combined features, so that also will be there. But mainly by the type of things which are exchanged in the communities, these different types are divided. So as for the question, it's asking where members share a personal situation. So members share a personal situation in a community of circumstance. So their instances, they are sharing what is happening and what they are going through at the moment. So answer is D for question 42. Now let's look at question 43. Interrogating the database to identify the patterns and relationships are known as. So interrogating means, now we use this word normally in investigations and questioning people. So same manner, questioning the database, checking from the database, querying the database to identify different patterns and relationships. So this is based on that. So let's look at what it explains on the textbook. Question number 43. So we have already discussed about data mining in some of the earlier questions also, I think. So this is a type of data mining where you look at the database and go through it, trying to find or uncover relationships in different arrangements. So this is a type of data mining, and you can see the only answer is having data mining is the descriptive data mining. And even the textbook is saying there are two types of data mining, where predictive aspect of it and the descriptive aspect of it. So if you look at the predictive aspect of it, this is about using known observations to predict future events, right? So for example, what has happened in the past, taken as a criteria, we are looking at the existing data, try to figure out whether the same kind of thing can happen, right? Whether we can see signs of similar pattern. Where descriptive data mining is without thinking about the previous situation, trying to question the database or trying to query the database and go through it and see what are the patterns and relationships, right? So this part of data mining is more about based on previous happenings to predict future behavior, whereas descriptive data mining is all about trying to make some new patterns and relationships among the data in the database. So if we look at this question, to identify the patterns and relationships, the answer we can select is answer C, descriptive data mining. Question number 44. So this is about e-marketing and steps of e-marketing. So 6 I's of e-marketing developed by McDonald and Wilson include. So they have given a certain answer point. So before looking at it, let's go to the textbook and see how this is discussed. So you can see here characteristics of e-marketing, the 6 I's model. So there are 6 I. So you can see the 6 I's: interactivity, intelligence, individualization, integration, industry structure, independence of location. So these are the 6 aspects of, or 6 I's of e-marketing, which is developed by McDonald and Wilson in 2011. So this is how it's summarized. So if you look at, there is a explanation given for each of the items characteristics separately, so you can have a separate idea by reading through this. So it's about starting from interactivity, because e-marketing customers interact with this content and they respond to this content. So their interactivity we can use to forecast what they will do and how they will do in future interactions with us. So like that, all these characteristics of e-marketing are specific to the electronic marketing aspect as compared to the normal traditional marketing. So if you look at question number 44, we'll see integration is there, individualization is there, interference. The interference is not a part of this model. Interference is not a part of this model, so that is not included there. And interactivity is there, so it should be integration, individualization, and interactivity. So the answer is A. Right. Question number 45. A customer relationship marketing emphasizes the importance of. So customer relationship marketing, that means marketing based on the customers and trying to have the collaboration and have the contacts with the customer. So customer relationship marketing is a really important thing. Let's look at how it is explained in this textbook. So under customer relationship management, one thing discussed here is customer relationship marketing. So customer relationship, the question is asking, it emphasizes the importance of. So what are the 4 answers given? Does it emphasize customer satisfaction? Does it emphasize long-term relationship with customers? Does it emphasize one-off sales to customers? Or does it emphasize quality of the product? So if you have a little look at how it explains here. Using marketing resources to retain rather than simply attract new customers. So this is about keeping the existing customers and trying to provide services to them, because customers who are already purchasing from us are important compared to the new customers who will come in future. So we have to first think about the existing customers. So it focuses on establishing a loyalty among the existing customers, as for most companies by far the largest portion of their revenue comes from existing customers, right? Because they make repeat purchases or follow-up purchases. So keeping the existing customers happy is the easiest and the best way for an organization to generate revenue. This suggests that although a large part of marketing effort should be directed at winning new customers and increasing market share, it is also important to retain customers and secure their repeat business. So existing customers, they can be our brand ambassadors. For example, if a regular customer is there who is always purchasing from us, and these customers are not isolated in the society, they have their own community, they have their families, friends, and they are connected to a lot of other people. So there is a tendency that when we try to buy something, if we have some of our known people who are using those types of products, we tend to ask them, since you have used it, how is it? Is it good? What is the experience you have? So more than what the organization is communicating about the product, it is very vital that a customer who has already bought the product is talking about it with one of their friends and family about the positive experience. That is more convincing than the organization itself saying that our product is good. So existing customers, one thing is it's easy to sell to them because they are already purchased and they know what to expect from us. And the next thing is they can be our agents or ambassadors rather to make new customers for us, because when other people talk to them, they can also make up their mind that okay, this is a good product or a service. So looking at the 4 answers given here, out of the answers, this is the key thing that we talk about in customer relationship marketing. This is to have a long-term relationship with our customers. Question number 46. Select the characteristics of transactional marketing. So to look at this, transactional marketing is actually, if you look at the previous question, this is a bit of an opposite to customer relationship marketing, because transaction marketing is not thinking about keeping the long-term customer or retaining them. It is about the transaction, just want to sell and finish it off, right? So let's look at how it is discussed in the textbook. So in the next page it says it compares the transactional marketing focusing on a single transaction, whereas marketing focusing on a relationship where future many more transactions can happen. So transactional marketing is thinking on the current sale, whatever the product to be sold now, they want to just sell it off. They are not thinking of how to get this customer to buy products in the future also. So the focus is not that, right? Whereas the relationship marketing is the other way around. So importance of product features. So they will communicate to the customer the features of the product, right? But in relationship marketing, and what they communicate is how that product can benefit the customer, right? How that it can help you. So customers feel more like relationship based kind of a discussion there, whereas here they are just doing marketing by saying, okay, this product is this, and these are the characteristics. And in transactional marketing, it's about short payoff time scale. So we do the marketing, the product is sold, and then the payments and the commission and the return is finalized, and then we move on. And less emphasis on service, so we don't focus on trying to give them a good service to make them happy. We just want to sell the product, and we don't want to make customers happy and satisfied. Quality is the concern of production, right? So this is not a concern of the marketing teams or sales team. They don't worry about the quality of the product or the service that they are going to sell. They think that it's a concern of the production. They have to make sure that it's in good quality. Whereas in relationship marketing, the marketing also is very much concerned about the quality of the product, because they are trying to create a relationship with the customer, so they don't want to sell something with, of a poor quality, so because they want them to become future customers also. But here in transactional marketing, that's not the case. How the product is being produced and the quality and all that aspect, it's a different department's work, and the marketing team doesn't want to interfere or do anything about it. And the commitment is competitive, and so the more the sales, more the margin, so it's more towards driving the sales. But here it's different, where customer commitment is the focus. And finally, persuasive communication to the market, whereas regular communication to customers. So here, when the product is to be sold, you communicate, you do a lot of promotion, propaganda and all that, and sell it off, then that's it. But whereas relationship marketing, it's different. You keep on giving updates, promotions, and you keep on looking after the existing customers. So these are the two aspects of the transactional marketing. So the answer has to be a short time scale is there, competitive commitment is there, and persuasive communication is there. This is not there because customer service is a strong emphasis on customer relationship marketing. So therefore this one and this one and this one is the right answer. So you have that combination in the answer B, right? So let's look at question number 47. Under the content process maturity model, staff commitment to standards and strong readership is a characteristic of which one of these? So let's look at in the content process maturity model, staff commitment to standards and strong leadership is what kind of a characteristic? So the four answers given: organized and repeatable pace, ad hoc pace, rudimentary pace, optimized pace. So let's look at how this is discussed in the textbook. So there are 5 phases in the maturity model, content process maturity model. So there are characteristics mentioned for each of the phases, and how to progress in each phase is mentioned. So if you look at phase 1, the ad hoc phase, the characteristic is there's a lack of uniform practice. There's no uniformity in the practice, and it's just ad hoc, right? And then in the second phase, it's rudimentary, where some content support structures are in place. It's rudimentary, it's not that much ad hoc, but little bit better, and some content support structures are in place. And phase 3, organized and repeatable. So staff committed to standards and there is strong leadership. So in the third phase only, you have the staff committed to the standards and strong leadership available. And we look at the other 2 phases as well. Managed and sustainable phase. So the leadership may change without loss of standard. So even the management or the supervisor or the leadership changes, it will not have a problem with the standard or commitment to customer needs, because the process itself is now managed in a proper way and a sustainable process. So whenever the leadership changes, process will not collapse. And finally, it's optimized to level 5, phase 5. So promote value of quality content throughout the company. So this is the phase where the quality of the content is concerned, right? So you can see the 5 phases. So for our question, so it's under the phase 3, organized and repeatable. So the answer is the question answer part is A for question number 47. Question number 48. Encouraging users, customers to form virtual communities is an example of encouraging users or customers to form a virtual community, right? So let's look at how this is explained in the text book. So under the personalization section, so this is in chapter 10, mobile and social media marketing. So under the personalization section, we'll see what it says. Database, document generation and web technologies have improved the ease and sophistication of targeting and personalization of content between organization and customers. So here are some examples. So allowing users to customize web pages for their personal interests and tastes, making individually targeted product offers and recommendations based on the buying behavior, sending personally addressed and targeted content messages to customers, and encouraging users and customers to form virtual communities, right? So we are encouraging the customers to use the chat rooms, discussion boards and our news groups. So this is one of the aspects of personalization, right? So you can see this is what we were looking for, and there are other personalization examples given. So if we look at the question 48, you can see easily the answer is personalization. So now we have question number 49. Keyhole and buffer are two examples of, so let's see how this is explained in the textbook. Right, so tools used in social media monitoring. So this is under social media management tools, chapter 10. So this is mainly how to manage big data harvested by from this social media, because the social media is having a lot of information where the organization can use. So for that, the question is asking these two tools, what type of example? Is it a social media analytic tools, email marketing tools, social media marketing tools, or customer relationship management tool? So if you look at, so you can see keyhole and buffer are two tools for social media analytics. So this is explaining how Facebook Insights, Google Analytics, and how do you analyze social media platforms and harvest the data. So these are set of tools which are explained. So in that you can see those are social media analytic tools. Right. So now we are about to discuss the last question of this mock paper. So let's look at how this is explained. In e-business technology, SERP stands for. SERP stands for. So you can see under search engine optimization, leveraging the results of search engines, how to get search engines to work for our requirements. So under search engine optimization, there are methods mentioned. There are two methods mentioned. One is SERP, which is search engine results pages. So, and the other thing is page ranking. So if you look at what does it mean by SERP? Search engine result pages are web pages served to users when they search for something online using a search engine such as Google. The user enters their search query, often using specific terms and phrases known as keywords, upon which search engine presents them with a search engine results page. So this is nothing new. This is what happens when you open up Google, and when you type some some set of words to find, and when you click the search button, you will get a page with which is matching what you are trying to search in Google. So that result page is called SERP, where when you enter something and click on search, the search engine gives a results page. So this is SERP, right? So you can select the answer, search engine result pages, right? So you can sometimes confuse with search engine ranking pages, because this is a different concept where pages are ranked. If you see for a particular search word, if you want to find out about a certain product in the internet, when you type that and try to search for it, you can see a lot of search results in the first page itself, but if you go down, you can see there are another 50 to 100 search result pages which are having matching results. So ranking means which results should be coming at the first and which ones should come next. Likewise, the order of the search items are defined by the ranking concept adopted by different search engines. So you can even look for and learn for how Google page ranking happens, so that when you type something, whatever comes first is because it has been ranked as a higher value. That's why it's coming at the beginning. So with that, now we have completed discussing the mock paper, and I would highly suggest for you to use the study guide, not only to read the content sections, but also with each chapter in the study guide, at the end there are a set of questions and answers. So I'm suggesting that you also have a look at those questions and answers. Apart from, now you did the pilot paper, there are a set of questions, and you did now we discussed the mock paper, and there are another set of questions, and additionally there are questions after each chapter in the textbook, so or the study guide. So all that has to be referred and try to answer without looking the answers given in the book, and then you know what you have missed. So you have to do it in a systematical manner. So watch this video at your own pace, and time to time you can again go back to certain sections of this video if certain sections are not clear. Thank you for watching the mock paper discussion series.